Peace and love. Peace and love. Good morning, everyone. Another edition of Coffee and Charts. This is volume 17. Volume 17. As you guys come on, please make sure that you like and share the video. If you are tuning in from Facebook, follow the TeamAlliance page. After you like and share the video, if you're tuning in from Twitter, be sure to retweet. If you're tuning in from YouTube, be sure to like and share the video. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on your bell notifications. Very important. We're going to do a live observation. This is called Coffee and Charts. This one in particular, so grab yourself a cup of coffee. I got Irish cream with hazelnut on deck. Iced. Delicious. Yo, hold on. Let me turn this fan on. Hold on a second. All right. So the platform that we are observing is referred to as NADEX. NADEX makes it possible for us to utilize our understanding of the market and apply it specifically on this platform to enter into profitable trades. Of course, when I make reference to trading, I'm always going to say profitable trades because anyone can trade, but everyone is not profitable when they're trading, which can be a problem if this is something that you want to become your profession. You have to learn how to be consistently profitable, period. I'm hoping the audio's good. I haven't tested it yet, but y'all let me know if y'all can hear everything clearly. All right. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. What you know about that? All right. So if you guys have questions, especially if you're new, if you have a question about something that you see on the platform or whatever the case may be, please feel free to ask whatever your question is. Don't hesitate. Very important. All right. If you're new and you're not familiar with the platform, you can get more information about the platform at the website, nadex.com. And I highly suggest that you do that in order to familiarize yourself with the platform. Understanding how to navigate the platform, etc., will make things easier for you when you watch this content. You'll start to make sense of what you see me doing. One of the things in particular that I'll focus my attention on doing throughout the observation is the movement of this green box. The box here signifies the strike prices right now that are relevant to where the market is positioned. Also, we're currently in the New York session still because the time is 11:36 a.m. So up until 12:05 p.m., the distance of these strike prices are 4 pips apart. So I had mentioned this yesterday, how during the New York session, the distance of the strikes increased to 4. So they're 4 pips apart now. You can see that this one here, 1721, this one 1717, so that's 4 pips of difference. At 12:05, this will cut in half, and the distance will be 2 pips apart. And we'll be on at that time, so you'll see what I'm referring to. All right. Oh, you know about that, huh? Angel is on it. Of course, Jay Carly's on it. When I feel. Oh, snap. Y'all know nothing about that, man. All right, so yes, throughout the observation, as I mentioned, I'll be moving the box. I'm also going to talk about a few things that I'm seeing. I wanted to discuss in particular candles and range, and how important ranges are, what they mean as far as identifying how far the market is going to move during a 1-minute period. So basically, these candles that you're seeing on the platform on the chart now, these represent 1-minute candles, 60 seconds. Each one of these, the red and the blue. Excuse me. So these candles are forming every 60 seconds. And throughout that time, there's movement in the market. So the 1-minute period is showing you a visual representation of how much movement there actually is from one extreme to the other, meaning from the top to the bottom. The market is either moving in one direction or the other at the time. And you're seeing that visually through these candles. So you can tell by looking at the candle whether the market only moved down, only moved up, or if it did something else, move up first and then down, down first and then up. Or it could have done a combination of both and then ended up in the middle. You know, up first, down second, and then come back up halfway and ends up in the middle somewhere. So there's all type of movements that the market does. Another thing I'll point out is you see how right now this strike is now in the middle of the box. That's because of the distance between the strikes. Angel had actually brought this up on a previous observation. She was asking about what you should be doing with the box when these lines move. I'll just elaborate again for anyone that might have misunderstood or not fully understood at the time. The reason that you see the lines move is because the distance between the strikes are 4 pips. And the box is representing wherever the lines were at the time. So this is showing you where the lines were for the previous binary. On the current binary, the lines moved. And you'll see that from time to time, or probably more often than not, I would say during the New York session. So between the time of 8 a.m. to 12:05 p.m., the distance is 4 pips apart. And that's why when you see the box positioned in one spot, the lines will relocate because the lines are moving along with where the position of the market is, which could be in a different position because the distance is more. Instead of being 2 pips apart, it's 4. So what is happening is the lines will repopulate either on the 4 or on the 2 versus only on the 2, which is why when the box is 4 pips apart, like it is now, the lines will end up being sometimes in the box. And you're looking like, wait, oh man, look at the lines. They're in a different position. And I'm explaining why. It's because there's a distance of 4 pips. So for example, like right now you got 19 here. You got 23 here. That's a distance of 4. If this was a distance of 2, you would have 19, you would have 21. You would have 19, you would have 17 underneath. So 21 would be above here in the middle. 17 would be down here in the middle between these two. And the box would always be on lines because there's only a distance of 2. When you got a distance of 4, only 5 lines populate. Let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's only going to be 5 lines in the ladder for the current binary that you're observing. And those 5 lines will be in different positions when you have more distance between the strikes. Does that make sense? Because there's more numbers. So you got 17 over here, but it's just not populated there right now. If it was populated on 17, you would have 17, 21, 25. See? But it's not populated on 17. It's populated on 19. So you got 19, 23, 27. You're following me, right? So I wanted to talk about that in particular for anyone that would be confused about why the box is in a different spot if you're observing during the New York session on the euro dollar in particular, because the euro does this. The euro in particular, there are other pairs that do it also. They'll switch from 2 to 4 during the New York session. After the New York session, it switches back from 4 to 2. Okay? So look, you see how the box is now populating 17 and 21? This is what I'm talking. I just made mention of this. Now the lines are back where the box is. So as you're observing, if you're looking at the market during the New York session, what I do is I will move the box wherever the lines are, because it doesn't take anything to move the box. I do that just to keep following along with where the market is right now. So if the next question is, well, Mark, should I move the box? If I'm observing during the New York session, I'll move the box because I want the box to be wherever the lines are. Now, just now, I did not move the box, but that's because I'm explaining what goes on during the New York session so that you understand why it does it. Okay? So I wanted to make sure that I had that on the recording so that when you go back and watch this, you'll understand that better. Okay? And look, here's the question. Are you supposed to move the box when the strikes change? And I just said just now that I moved the box during the New York session if I'm observing. Okay? Yep. Sure did answer the question before I even saw the question. But of course. All right, let me see who we got in the building real quick. Just to run through the roll call. I see Carl Francois. Jay Carly's here. Melanie's here. Mo was in the building. Peter Leonardi is here. Walker, Jermaine, Ron Carter, Orion, Angel, Nicole Blunt. I see Charles also. Jason Andrew, what's happening? And I see Eshore as well. Okay. All right, cool. So yes, for purposes of your observation, I move the box. So what would I do? I would move the box. I'm going to put the box wherever the lines are, and I'm going to also put the box wherever the candle is that is penetrating the box. So we like just right now, for example, I'll put it right there. Now, why am I putting it here? Because I'm lining up the edge of the box with the candle that's touching the top of where the box is. So this way now, when I move this across like this, I'm only going to see activity inside the box, which is all I want to see. I don't want to see any activity that's touching, crossing, or moving to the other side of the box, because I know that that is going to invalidate the box for my observation. So basically, I'm just going to move the box again. When the next candle forms, I'll move it again. And I'll keep doing that so that I'm only observing candles inside the box. Now, in particular, with the candles, Antonio, what's happening? Alan, what's going on? In particular with the candles, right? What the candles do that help you is they are showing you moments when the distance of the movement within a 60-second period from top to bottom is getting smaller, or I should say becoming less. The candles are showing you when the distance of the movement is lessening. The distance of the movement is lessening. Why is that important? Because when there's more distance in the movement, it means that there is too much movement for there to be stability from the perspective of range. We know that the first indication of stability is range. Range simply, for purposes of how we use that word, And for how we understand it, range is showing movement top to bottom that is lessening. So like here, for example, I'll move the box up here now, because you had this candle penetrate the top of the box. So now the top becomes the bottom of where the current box is. And when we move this across, the only thing I'm going to see is activity inside the box. So the only thing that's there is candles in the box now. And we want to see more of this happening. We want to see more candles staying in the box for longer periods of time. We also want to see the candles becoming smaller, which is what I'm actually getting into right now. Smaller candles represent lessening of the movement of the distance, top to bottom. As the market lessens its distance, meaning it's lessening how far it's moving within each 60-second period, as that becomes less and less and less, it's increasing the likelihood of the candles remaining in the bigger box, which is the green box that you see. If you have smaller candles, there's more likely going to be activity staying inside the box because the candles are smaller. When you got big candles, it means the market is traveling too much or too far. And if that continues to take place, you'll see the movement penetrate the top or the bottom of the box like it is right now. So you see two candles that remained in the box, and now this one penetrating the box again. Is two candles a long period of time of the market remaining in the box? No, because that's only 2 minutes. Now, what if the market begin to tighten up and you see the market staying in the box for 10 candles? Now you see the difference. Oh, wow, it's staying in the box for longer periods of time. Well, it can only do that if the candles are smaller. And we know what smaller candles represent. They represent range. It means that the range is becoming smaller, it's tightening up. The reason that that's important is because when we see the range tightening, we now know how much movement to expect from subsequent moves. The market reveals itself. In other words, it's showing you what it's doing. And as it shows you and shows you and shows you and shows you, when you're seeing what it's doing, you're making an interpretation of what you're seeing. And that's the part right there that you need to be trained on. Your interpretation of what you're seeing has to be precise. When you hear me use words like dominance, overall, those are key words because they represent what the market is doing as a whole. If the market is showing smaller candles for less time, the overall market is not ranging. As it begins to do that for more time, it's starting to range. As it begins to dominate doing that, it's ranging. You see how I just described 3 different things? I just described 3 separate things. And each one means something. So here, you see how the line's relocated? So for purposes of the observation, we're going to move the box. See? So again, market is showing or revealing to you there are fewer candles that are small. You got some candles small. most candles big. That turns into more candles are small, fewer candles are big. That turns into almost all the candles are small. Very few of the candles are big. What just happened? It's called transition. This is how the market unfolds. It doesn't just switch on and off. Like, you don't just look at the market and like, oh, it's stable now. It wasn't stable 5 minutes ago, but it's stable now. No. The market transitions into stability. Also, what stability are you making a reference to? Are you referring to the range? Are you referring to the activity in the box? Meaning, how long is the range or the ranging of the candles staying inside of the box? That's a separate identification, recognition, and determination of stability. So you got range of the actual 1 minute candles. Then you have this box, which is where those 1 minute candles are staying inside of this box for a period of time. The longer it stays, the more the market is stabilizing. The same way that the smaller the candles become, the longer that the market is beginning to stabilize. And these are two separate perspectives. One is range and one is the box, which technically is just simply a larger representation of the range. It's what the smaller candles are doing over time. That's what the box is showing you. The fact that you have smaller candles, that's the first indication that you'll see that the market is starting to stabilize. Because if it's moving less distance, it's increasing the likelihood of the movement staying contained. Contained in what? Contained in the box. Make sense? See, a box is a container. So that's why you hear me say and use these words, in the box. Because that's the activity that we want to see. So I'm going through this way because throughout these observations, your understanding of all of it is becoming elevated. You'll begin to not make mistakes as far as not recognizing what it is, that you're looking at. You won't make those mistakes. See, what happens is some people will take bits and pieces of what I'm saying, and then they'll try to create a way to trade with that. But you haven't heard me mention a trade yet. The trade is the least important part. It's when you're entering a trade that is what matters. So if you can't recognize stability in the market from these perspectives, you will likely enter into the market at the wrong time, meaning at a time when the market is not stable. See, you can enter at a time where the market appears to be stable if you misinterpret what you're looking at. Easy to do. It's very easy to do that. If you misinterpret what you're seeing, it's very easy to mistake what you're seeing for stability. Oh, but the candles were small. Okay. How long were they small for? Oh man, I didn't think about that. Exactly. See, so if you misinterpret that information, you can easily mistake that for stability in the market when it's not stability yet. It's transitioning into stability. And you need to know the difference. And why do I stress all of this? It's like, Mark, why do you keep stressing all of this shit about the market? Because if you don't understand it, it's going to be the reason that you lose your trade. Put it like this. Not understanding the market means that you're flipping a coin every time that you trade. Question now is, do you want to basically flip a coin when you trade? Is that how you want to trade? Because if you don't take the time to understand how the market stabilizes and what it looks like, that's what you'll be doing. You'll be flipping a coin every time you trade. And when you flip a coin, the outcome is either going to be heads or tails. When you understand the market, it's the equivalent of heads on both sides of the coin. Because you'll know the outcome before the coin flips. What's the outcome of a coin that got heads on both sides? What's the outcome? Heads. See? So before you even flip the coin, you know the outcome. That's the equivalent of understanding how the market moves. Before you even enter the trade, you'll know the outcome. It works. It works. And I can tell you with certainty, the one thing I can guarantee you is that if you don't take time to learn how the market moves, you will not be consistently profitable when you do trade. The odds and the numbers are not in your favor. They're working against you. Muffin woman, what's happening? Yep, the odds are against you every time you trade. So that's why this is so important, because I already know, even before people, come around and start asking the same questions, I already know what you're going to ask. Well, when do you take the trade? You know what? We'll look at some examples of trades because I'm going to show you some things. But let's do that right now, as a matter of fact. Let's do that right now. Here's the trade right here. You can sell this right here. Look good for a sell, right? Your candles are going down, right? Look. Candles are going down, man. That's a sell. That's a sell right there. Look at that. And we can make $40. Let's make $40 on this. So we're gonna enter with a sell at 40. We got under a minute. Let's take that. $40, man. So now you enter this trade. Let's see what happens. 30 seconds left. Indicative got to stay underneath 1717. So matter of fact, let me move this box down here. So you need the candle to stay inside this box right here. Let's zoom in. You need this to stay in this box. Got 10 seconds left. Oh, shit. Let's zoom in. 10 seconds left. Here's the candle right here. This got to go back under there. Did it go back under? No. What just happened? Shit, man. I don't know, man. But it was trending lower. It was trending lower. Look at these candles. The market was going down. So what are you missing from this? Like, just think about that. You just took this trade. You sold. It looked good. This candle right here was underneath in the box a little bit. even before this candle, this one here was in the box. So the market was down here with only a minute left. But in the last 10 seconds, the market was under here and then it ended up going above. And you lost. See? So what's missing? What's missing when you just trade like that? Because this is how people trade. Exactly what I just did is exactly how someone will place a trade. Why can't you trade this way? It looked good. Come on now. It looked good. Look at all these red candles. Damn, this should have won. I'm calling NADEX because it should have stayed under there. No. Market decided that it didn't want to stay under. The question is, why did it go over? Why? Put an arrow there. Right there in this candle. Why did the market go over that line? Why did it go outside the box? Why did it do this with 10 seconds left? See? That's what you have to be able to answer. And if you can't answer that, you have no business being in the market, period. Because you don't understand why you're trading. You saying, oh, well, it was heading down. That's not an answer. It was heading down until it headed up. I see that the strikes just decreased also. You see how they went from 4 to 2? So now it looks like the box is taking up 2 lines. You see that? And this is because right now we're after 12:05. So now we can bring the box down from 4 to 2. So now we won't see the lines repopulate in a different spot now because we're 2 pips apart. So we'll no longer see that. Yeah, but you know, so you see how easy it is for someone to think that they're winning and think that a trade was good. That looked like a good setup. That was a good setup. Market had downward momentum, quote unquote. The candles were red. The market was under the line. It was in the box, right? Damn, but why did it come out the box with 10 seconds left? People get caught like that all the time on trades. All the time. Zalbu, if the candles stay in the box, but at the end of the binary, the strike has moved to the middle of the box, and then you have to move the box, is that instability? When you say the end of the binary, the strike has moved, are you talking about during the periods when it's 4 pips apart? I think that's what you're saying. And the answer is yes, you have to move the box. It is not necessarily instability. It's just that the distance between the strikes are more pips. And I actually discussed that earlier in this observation in more detail, actually today. So I would suggest that you go back and rewatch this because I actually discussed that in detail today so that you have a solid understanding of what you should do when the lines move. All right, so make sure that you watch the replay. This is all facts. TA is the coin with heads on both sides. That's what we do. And yes, this is true. In the box, it does not mean automatic stability. Yep. Because see, remember that the market being in the box is one perspective of stability. In addition to that, you also need smaller, tighter candles dominating. Let me rewind that. You also need smaller, tighter candles dominating. I mean, right here's a good example to use. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 candles in the box right here. 5 candles inside the box. But look at how big the candles are. Look at these 2 candles, huge. So just because you have 5 candles in the box, it doesn't mean much because the dominant size is not small. The dominant overall size in the market right now is big. Look at these big candles. Y'all follow me? So when I'm moving this box, I'm just doing this just so I can see when the candles start to become small and when there are more of those than there are big candles. I want to see the moment when I'm seeing more small candles for longer periods of time compared to the big ones. I want to see fewer big candles, more small ones. Make sense? Alan says, that's why I'm here. I've traded like that before and lost in the last 10 to 20 seconds. You are right. Exactly. Exactly, man. And see, the thing is that most people trade that way. Most people. Yep, majority of people out here trading that way. Zabu, before the pip change. Before the pip change. What do you mean? So are you saying before the are you saying when there's 2 pips apart or 4 pips apart? That'll help me better understand what you're asking. Yeah, that and so okay, so if you're talking about the 4 pips apart, that's what I explained earlier in the video. So when you watch the replay, your question will be answered thoroughly because that's exactly what I talked about when I first came on. So watch the replay. Can we talk about how when you pinch the strikes together, everything looks like RCB? Does that count as RCB or is that curve fitting? When you say pinch the strikes together, what do you mean? When you bring the strikes closer like this? Is that what you're asking? And zoom all the way in? So you're saying everything looks like RCB when you do this? Well, if you're zoomed in like this, you can still see the size of the candles. Like I can just look at these and tell these still big candles. This one right here is it lit because the top of the wick and the base of the candle, top of the wick is the middle of the box. And this box is 2 pips apart. So if the wick is hitting the middle, then I know that the distance of this candle is at least a full pip. And let's check. I love it when I'm right. Look at the high, 8.2. Look at the low, 7.2. That's a pip. So visually, even if you're zoomed in this way, this don't look like RCB. This look like a big ass candle here. This is still a bigger candle. These candles are still big. Smaller candles don't look as big as these do, just visually. So if any of you are mistaking the fact that you're zoomed in like this for having RCB, then I would suggest that you take the time to look at your high, low, open, close. Because these are one. Look at the distance of these candles. This is 1 pip. This one is 6. Yeah, this one is 6. That's a full pip. That's about 4 micros. So these are still big candles, and you have more of these. There's more big candles than small ones. So regardless of how you're looking at it, whether you zoomed out like this or whether you zoomed in, don't just think because it looks like what RCB would look like. Don't be mistaken by these candles. Actually look to see what the actual distance of the candles are. How many micropips are inside the candles? Because just because the candles are in the box, it don't mean that these are small ones. You said zoom all the way in and then pinch them even closer. Oh, let me see what that looks like. And pinch the strikes closer. What, like this? Well, who doing this? This how y'all got just your charts looking? If y'all are doing this, I would say stop doing this off the rip because you're getting misled by what you think that you're seeing. Make your box bigger so you can actually see the size of the candles just visually. So even if I am zoomed in, I see that these are still big candles in it. You can see the size of the box. If you got a candle that's going from the bottom of the box to the middle, that's a pip. So if you got these big candles in here, no way do you got RCB, not even close. It's not even a range. So if you don't have a range, you can't have RCB. And I'm glad that you brought it up because if you mentioned it, that means people are doing it. And I wasn't actually aware that there were folks doing that and assuming that they got RCB. Yeah, so all right, so then y'all need to stop doing that. Don't zoom in that much. Zoom out so that you can see how big these candles are. Because if y'all are thinking that these are small, Clearly they ain't small. These are not little candles. This one alone is more than a pip. Let me see the size of this. Look at this. This right here is 11 micro pips. Wait, is it? No, excuse me, 9. I apologize. This one is 9, so that's almost a pip. Let me see this one. This one is 8. So these are almost 1 pip candles. And we talking about the majority of them. Look at all of these candles in here. These are big ass candles, y'all. So if you doing this and then doing this, trying to get RCB like this, stop doing this. Let me repeat it. Don't do this. If this is what you're doing, stop doing this. Because you are confusing yourself. And if you're recording like that and showing that in the recording also, you're confusing everybody else as well. So don't do that. Just in case your recordings look like that too. These are big ass candles. Look how big these candles are. That ain't no RCB. Nope. Right, that's BAC. That's BAC, big ass candles. Yes. Right, that ain't RCB. Look at my RCB. I see your BAC. Yeah, but Angel, thank you for bringing it up, because I don't want anyone being confused. I need y'all to speak up and say stuff, because I don't always know. I'm not always aware of what people might be doing until somebody makes me aware of it. Walker said he just started changing the way that he observed because of his studies from yesterday, seeing some old videos made him reconsider the way he observes. Yeah. Yeah. Look at SG. Oh, snap.
What you talking about, Willis?
See? A little birdie always gonna let me know. Little birdie. Yeah, so my preference is to make, I mean, like, you see what I'm doing. Usually when I have my box, I'm zoomed out. I'm either like this or like this, because I want to be able to see the candles, for one. And I also want to be able to see how long the market is staying in the box and what size those candles are. So like when I move the box, I can come up here like this, and if I want to make a reference, I can just come right back to where it was with no problem. You can't do that if your chart look like this. You can't do that if your chart is looking like this. Y'all thought this was RCB? Yeah. We definitely stop doing that for anyone doing it. Yep, definitely stop doing that. visually you can see much better this way. Like just how exactly how I have it drawn out right now and the size. So matter of fact, let me see how many times you would have to zoom out from the max zoom in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you're max zoomed in, zoom out 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is how it should look. This is how your chart should look. And don't have it so pinched so that it's like this. Open it up so we can see it. You want to be able to see everything. So right now you see a very slow transition of the box. Not the candles yet. Candles are still big. But you are seeing that the market is actually staying inside of the box for longer periods now. Like here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 candles were inside the box. Is it ranging? No. So why is it important though to know that the candles are staying inside the box for longer? Because that means that they're staying in the box for longer, which means that perspective of stability is something that the market is revealing to you now. If the market is doing this now, range is probably likely to start to be manifested as well. Or the market could just be like, nah, I ain't doing that yet. And start going back through the box again and doing this less. Which is why I always tell you guys that the range is the first indication. So even though I'm moving the box just visually out of habit. And because I know ultimately we want the candles to remain in the box. But initially we want to see range. You actually want to see the candles smaller and tighter. Because you know that that's the first indication of stability, meaning that you're more likely to see that happen before you see candles staying in the box longer periods of time. How likely is it that the market will have big candles staying in the box over and over? How likely is that to happen for a long period of time? It's not. So you might see it, like this is one instance of it, but that's the only one. Look at everything else the market is doing with these big ass candles. This is the longest period of time so far that you've seen the market in the box for, and these candles are big. If you come over here, this was less. You got 4 there. This, what you got? 1. What you got over here? 3, and then 2 big ass candles. So that ain't nothing. What you got over here? 1. What you got here? Nothing. What you got here? Nothing here. Over here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the box. So you see what I'm saying? 4 candles in the box, but these big candles, market goes back to big candle shit. Big ass candle moves. Boom, 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 boom. And it's still doing that, just overall. So these candles are too big. So if I'm in observation and I'm waiting for the market to start to show me the early signs of stability, I'm really not relying on the box for that. I'm relying on the range for that. I want to see these candles smaller. I want to see the candles smaller, and I want to see the candles staying smaller for longer. Then what happens when the market does that? When the candles stay smaller for longer, guess what happens next? Then they start staying in the box for longer. So boom, what happens next? Now the box starts to be relevant, but it's relevant after the market ranges. See, the box is not too relevant with these big ass candles because there's too much activity going on. Candles keep going through the box. They'll be in the box for 3 or 4 candles. Right here, you had these candles in the box, 5, 6, and it was over. Back here, 4, over. Right? We want to see activity staying in the box for longer. What needs to happen in order for that to happen? The range. Does that make sense? It just makes everything visually easier. Like, look at what's happening now. What's happening with the candles? What's starting to happen with the candles now? Just look at them. Let's see how much distance is in this first one. Look at that. That's 4 micro pips. 5 micro pips. 3 micro pips. 6 micro pips. You're seeing smaller candles. The biggest candle in here now is 6, not 9 or 10. You're following me? And automatically what starts to happen when you have smaller candles? What's happening now? What are the candles doing? They're staying in the box. Come on, man. I know what I'm talking about. That's why it's RCB. What's the first letter in RCB? Range. What's the first thing that's going to happen when the market starts to actually stabilize? You're going to have range first, smaller candles for longer periods of time. See? And as the market starts to respect the barriers inside of this box, the market will start to cluster these candles together. The candles will be close together, clustered. That's the second letter in RCB, clusters. Makes sense. See? You can't have clusters without the barrier. Mm-hmm. Where do you find the ticket on the chart? If you click on either the red or the blue box for whatever is the relevant strike, that'll open up a ticket. So for example, if I click this, it'll open up a ticket. And it'll automatically by default go to the sell side because that's the excuse me, that's the box that I clicked. See? That's the box I clicked, so that's where you'll see the ticket open up. And then your ticket will be open. So just since I've been talking, you can see how the market now is transitioning. Smaller candles and in the box for longer period of time. But this time with smaller candles. See, this time they're not big candles. They're smaller ones. You see the difference? It becomes easier. And the reason it becomes easier is because you're getting better at seeing it. This is what the market does all the time. Get the manager because the customer ain't listening. Oh, man. Correct. Should not be relying on the visual of just candles in the box. You still need to know the range. That's right. That's right. And yes, it all falls in line with the phases. Yep. Utilize the multiple tools to build the wealth house. Absolutely. And this is key. This is why I started with the box. See, we are visual, just in general. People have said that to me time and time again. Mark, I'm visual. All right, well, here's a box. Look. See. Can we talk about how some people feel like using the box shows binaries that never had pricing? My thoughts are, is it the right time? Yeah, the pricing is something I'm going to get into in more detail and when I do the training on barriers. Because people get hung up for some reason with the option pricing when they have not thoroughly recognized whether the market is stable yet. And you need to know if the market is stable first before you even start looking at option pricing. So if you're looking at option pricing and you're seeing that there's no pricing, one, you need to know where the position of the market is. If the market is out of position, there's no reason to be clicking in if the market's already out of position, because you're thinking that you might get filled. The only reason that you would be clicking in is if you're in range and get a +1 while the market is stable. So there are prerequisites. One, market got to be stable first. What does that mean? Range and in the box. Clusters, because you have a barrier in the box that the market is respecting. What is that called? RCB. Now, what happens when you have RCB and apply the parameters? You're only applying the parameters because the market is in range, meaning that it's in position distance-wise. If you're 8 micro pips away from the strike, you're closer to the middle of the box than you are to the top or bottom of the box. If you're 6 or 5 micro pips away from the strike, you're in range. If you're 4, you're in range. If there's too much movement in the market and you are 2 micro pips away from the strike and you get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, understand that you just had 4 or 5 micro pips of movement to validate parameters. But it's 4 or 5 micro pips of movement what you want to see in the range. Whoa. Stuff to think about. If the market is moving that way, you need to question the movement. Wait, that was 5 micro pips. It was valid. What was valid? The entry, because I got 5 + 1. Yeah, but you got 5 + 1 at a time when the range wasn't as tight as it could be. Perhaps when the range wasn't as tight as it should be, meaning that there's too much what still present? There's too much movement. What does that mean? The range is not tight enough. And if the range is not tight enough, what happens? The market travels further. Whoa, 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 whoa. When you don't have a tight range, it means you have bigger candles. What happens when you have bigger candles? Well, if you have more bigger candles than smaller candles, what's dominating? The bigger ones. So if you're in trade mode, when the market is still transitioning from the bigger candles to the smaller ones, you could be in trade mode while there are still too many bigger candles in place. Damn, Mark, I ain't think about that. I know. So I shouldn't even be applying parameters yet. Bingo. We're not even there yet. We ain't on parameters. We ain't on pricing. So when you're asking me a question, you want your question to be a market question, not a trade question. Listen to me. If you enter into a trade and the trade loses, it's because you did not see something in the market itself. It's not because the parameters don't work. The parameters are intended to be applied alongside the market stable. The market being stable, I should say. So if y'all understand that, it will help you to realize that you shouldn't even be trading at the time that you thought a trade was valid for. Go back and look at how the market looked. Oh, I see what he's saying now. Damn, yeah, it was still too many big candles. Exactly. Don't get caught off guard just because there were a few smaller candles for a little while, but all around there's bigger candles. You want the smaller candles to be what is dominating. Because what's dominating is what the market's doing. See? The same way that after a position change, when the market is in a range already, simply is what's not dominant. It's recessive. A position change is a recessive candle. Because there's a dominant range already present. So that big candle, it represents what is happening much less versus what's happening the most. After the position change, what happens? It goes back into a range. This is why I had to break down the position change. I have a whole training on it. So you understand. The position change is relevant when you're in a range. But you don't want big candles to be what's dominant because that means that the smaller candles are recessive. And here you are trying to trade when there's recessive candles. Market is going to shift right back into what it was doing already. If it was already doing big candles, that means that there was more distance in the moves already present. That's what was dominating in the market. It happened to slow down for a short period of time. So don't try to curve fit the little short period of time into a trade. That's the point I'm making. That's where you'll make your mistake. I saw it did it for one binary. There's a difference between one binary and 5 or 6. How long has the market been ranging for? That needs to be your first question. Market been ranging pretty much, for a while now. Okay. So now while the market is ranging, if the market does not give a trade-off, it is what it is. You got to accept that. Oh, well, Mark, I'm never seeing pricing. When the market's stable, you're less likely to see pricing. But if you follow the protocol, it ain't gonna matter because you'll be entering a trade or potentially a trade at the right time, no matter what. So whether you get filled or not, the process was done right. Y'all following me? This is a lot. This is a lot of detailed information that I'm giving right now. I'll be right back. Hold on. All right. As she says, after every live, this elevation can't get any better. Market's floating out the chairs now. Truth. Much harder. Much harder. It required more skill on your part. Now, less actual skill is required from you all. It's more so duplication of skill. So really you're copy and pasting the skill set more so. And as a result, by default, your skill level actually elevates in the process of that. Alvin, what's happening? Maui Jeff, what's happening? Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Walker. That's what Walker said he does now. Yep. You know, whatever is going to help you to understand things more effectively, do it. I'd rather you do that than deviate from the process in any way. Is it safe to click in when you see the tighter range? Like 2 MP and it's hardly moving, it's in position, but there's absolutely no pricing. If you're in a tighter range and you apply parameters, you clicking in. I told y'all for me, when we're in a tight range, in the box, RCB is present, parameters are met, I click in. +1, click. But understand what is already present. 1, range is present. 2, barrier is being respected. 3, clusters present. Market is in the box. +1 is given. I click in. I don't pay attention that much to the option pricing, to be honest, because when you have all of that, the option pricing is the least important thing. Whoa. See, listen, this is going to be a moment for many of you. Do not mistake what I'm saying. I'm not saying option pricing is not important. I'm saying option pricing is the least important when you have all of the above that I just mentioned. And I'm not talking about when you 8 micropips away. I'm not saying 8 + 1. I'm talking about when you're in range. You see it go from 6 to 5. That's +1 on a sell. Or you see it go from 5 to 6 on a buy. That's +1. 6 to 7 on a buy. Even that. 5 to 4 on the sell. Even that. But that's as far as I would go. If the position is 7 or 8 already, and then you get a +1, that's irrelevant. It's out of position. Clearly, you understand why there's no option pricing. So you have no chance of getting a fill on that unless the market moves against you. Let me repeat that. Hold on. Listen. You don't have a chance of being filled unless the market goes the other way against your position. That's not what you want. You don't want to enter into a trade because the market had to go against you to fill you. We're getting into details now because I'm making the distinction so that you understand what this is relevant to. Listen. And y'all got to play this back because this is super important. This is answering a lot of questions right now. Oh, well, I got the +1. Yeah, but you were 8 micro pips away from the strike. Does it make sense to even attempt to enter that? No. Now, if you 4 or 5 micro pips away and you get a +1, click in. When you have RCB already, when you've been in the box, but not 8, 9 micro pips away from the strike. This is clarity because this is what some of y'all do. And don't do it. This is why you have the term out of position. What does that mean? The strike is closer to the middle of the box. Not the strike, excuse me, the market. The market is too far away from the strike for there to be pricing at all. So why would you even attempt to try to enter that? You know you ain't gonna get filled. If the market remains stable and in that position, you're not getting filled, period. The only way you'll get filled is if it comes back on you. And that's not how you want to be entered into a trade. This is answering a lot of questions, is it not? You're following me? This is powerful clarity right now. Make sure that you'll watch this back. Matter of fact, I'll recommend this for tomorrow, not even today. Today, I'll recommend yesterday's. This is good stuff, man. Very good questions. Because the questions are making me talk about this stuff. Because I know that this is stuff that some of y'all are doing. And you need to be clear on what you should not be doing. Yes, 100%. This is why we record. So 2 things have been given clarity today. 1, stop zooming in all the way to the candles. If you zoomed all the way in, zoom out 5 times. I'm going to show you right now again. If you zoomed all the way in like this, click the minus zoom 5 times. You see where it says zoom out right here? See this? It says zoom out. Click it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how your candle should look. And if over here these are tight like this, stop. Open it up so you can see. You need to be able to see. You should be able to see this whole thing on the chart. You should be able to see this. You should be able to see this box here. You should be able to see this box here. See? You should be able to see this. So that's the first clarity. Second one is what I just spoke on as far as the market being out of position. You got no business clicking in if it's that far away from the strike. 7, 8, 9 micropips away. That's too far. 4, 5, 6, that's in range. If you seeing movement 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, question the range. 2 to 6 is 5. That's 5 micros. Is 5 micropips what you want the size of the range to be? Think about it. Is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 how much movement you want to see? That's 5 micropips of movement. Think about it. Clarity. Market's doing too much. When you hear me say that, what am I talking about? I'm talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Market's doing too much. Just because you see that doesn't mean that that's valid. If you got that much movement, it's not ranging as tight as it should be. That's too much movement. Oh, but it's set up. I don't care about the setup. Same way I don't care about a +1 if you 7 or 8 micropips away from the strike. I'm not applying parameters if the market's out of position. There's nothing to do. You got to wait until it's in range. It needs to be in position, in range of the strike, and in a range with the candles. 3, 4 micropips at the most. If you got to use a number. If it's 5, it's too much. You shouldn't consistently be seeing 5. You should be consistently seeing 2, 3, 4. Really in that 3 area. Tight range, 3. That's the goal. That's the sweet spot. 3. Not 5 or 6. It's coming to me now. I'm realizing that folks are doing this. I don't even know who, but the fact that this conversation is happening now, this dialogue, it means that somebody's doing it. Because I wouldn't be able to talk about it if y'all wasn't. So if you're doing that, stop. That's how you're getting caught up in situations where the market went against you and it filled you, and then it ended up on the other side of the strike. Well, it was out of position. Not only that, there was too much movement in the market. Or you can even be out of position and get caught up in a position change. There's a few things that can happen, but you'll avoid all of that if you follow what I'm describing now. So you keep asking questions. Let me see. I felt like having no pricing was deviation because it's how it's said in 301 that you need to see threshold activity. Kind of struggling with this for my observations. What I've given you eliminates the struggle for that. Because you heard what I said that I do. What did I say that I do? When I have a range and there's a barrier and there's a cluster of candles in the box, when I get the +1, what do? I click in. I'm not sitting there worried about the option pricing. In that scenario, the option pricing is the least important thing. So this is clarity for that right there. For what you just said, Angel, about the threshold. This is giving clarity to that. Mind you, all it is elevation of what I said in 301. That's all it is. RCB is a multiple manifestation of behavior because it's multiple things happening that all fall under behavior. Ranging behavior is a behavior. That's a range. The box is behavior because that's the candles being contained between two strikes. The market respecting barrier, that's a behavior too. And when the candles cluster together, you're seeing visually it all come together. You can't have a barrier without a cluster. You need at least two candles to have a cluster. You need a range to have a barrier. You need a range to have the candles in the box. Look, listen to what I'm saying. I'm breaking it all down. This is it right here. Look what Peter said. Market is everything, not the trade. So again, when you're asking questions, more and more of your questions will become market questions, not trade questions. 100%. 100%. It always comes to the light, and then I'll go into it. This is powerful and so true. Instructions are clear unless you're deviating. That's a fact. Home of the free. Yep. If it's 3, it's for me. And yes. Yep. See, and I know what happens now also. People question mrmh. They're like, well, what's mrmh? And you've heard me say, what's the most important part of mrmh? You won't have candles tightening up unless the market is moving and holding. Mm-hmm. The box is an example of move hold. Hold up. Range is an example of move hold. It's holding inside of the range. The barrier is an example of move hold. When the market moves, it holds at the barrier. It doesn't go past it. It holds, stays there. It moves up to the barrier and holds. That's move hold. I'm bringing the terminology together so that you understand that it's all the same. mrmh, Mark's rule, move hold. Well, what's the rule? Move hold. Trade is only going to set up during what? Move hold. Well, what's move hold? The box. Well, what else is move hold? The range. What else is move hold? The barrier. Clusters. That's move hold. The market is doing the same thing in every instance. It's moving and holding. Tighter range. Less moving. Holding, though. The market is more likely to hold if it moves less. Less movement, more holding. Mm-hmm. So when we say RCB, that's mrmh. They're the same. Oh, but there wasn't a valid trade. That's okay. What makes mrmh valid is not the trade. What makes mrmh valid? Move holds. Y'all gotta play this one back today. Watch this again today, and then I'm gonna recommend it again tomorrow. I'm still pushing you out of trade mode. Well, Mark, when do we take the trade? We never take a trade. Oh my goodness. Hold on. We never take a trade. We will receive the trade when it comes. Receive. Any questions? This was good today because this was necessary to give clarity. And clarity, most of the time, is the only thing separating you from executing the process as you should. Sometimes you're just not clear. All right, no questions, huh? That'll be a no, huh? It's a no for me. And it's just rinse and repeat. So same thing, man. I mean, rinse and repeat, slow and steady. All of this terminology, this is stuff that I've been saying for years now. R&R mindset. It's it's all the same. Yeah, this is what it is most of the time. Yep. That's what it is most of the time. Just need to hear it from the horse's mouth again. $100%. That's a hundo. So just a quick recap. The range we want is a tight one. 5-6 micropips is too big. You want less movement. If the market's moving too much, it increases the likelihood of it doing too much. And you don't want to be in a trade when the market's doing too much. When the market ranges with smaller candles, it's a tighter range. When it does that for longer periods of time, it stays in the box longer. Both are necessary. Range typically takes place first. If you see candles staying in the box for periods of time before you see a range, it doesn't mean much because more than likely, not even more than likely, but what you're seeing is bigger candles in the box. Hold up. You're seeing bigger candles in the box for longer periods of time, meaning that it ain't doing what yet? It's not ranging yet. If you zoomed all the way in to the candles, zoom out 5 times so that your chart looks like how mine looks. If your strikes are too close like this, pull them apart so you can see them like this. You need to be able to see the candles in the box. If the candles ain't in the box, you ain't there yet. If big candles are in the box, you ain't there yet. If smaller candles are starting to stay in the box for longer periods of time, you're transitioning. If smaller candles are dominating everywhere, you're in the range. If smaller candles are staying in the box for longer periods of time, RCB is coming. When RCB is here, you apply parameters. If RCB is not present yet, you don't apply parameters. That's 301. That's phases 1, 2, 3. Right there. What I just said. What I just described as mrmh. What I just described as a winning trade. That you know is going to win. Well, Mark, no trade came. That's fine. Trade doesn't have to come for you to be in the process the right way. It's the process being done the right way that is the win, whether you are in a trade or not. Because avoiding being in the market at the wrong time is a win. That's a winning trade. The trade you didn't take is a winning trade. Well, I didn't take a trade this week. Or let me rephrase. I didn't receive a trade this week. That means you won. That's a win. See, you have to understand that just the fact that you know what the market is supposed to look like when the trade does come, that's the key to all of this. It's not learning what a winning trade looks like. It's learning what the market looks like. You need to know what the market looks like when a trade comes. That ultimately produces the winning trade. If there's any indication of the market not being there yet, that means it's not there yet. Oh, it's not ranging yet. How do you know? Because the smaller candles are not dominating yet. All right. There we have it. In a nutshell. Very good. This is what I want to hear. See this? No more stretched out candles. Why scam like me call me every day? Like every day though. Very good, Angel. Very good. I know that you've been pushing towards that. with the stuff that you've been struggling with. The clarity today, though, I think is going to knock down a lot of misunderstanding for the majority of everyone here, if not everyone. On repeat. Stacy says on repeat. Walker, which one you talking about? The 1235 one? And where is that? Is that, let me see something. You put that in the chat? Oh, I see it. Okay. Let me see if I can let me pull that up so we can take a look at it on here. See if I can share this screen. All right, I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. All right, so let's play this. So this is 1235. Take a look at this. Let me fast forward a little bit. So right about there. That was solid. Interesting. So let me go back a little bit because I want to see. I'm actually more interested in the movement before this box right here. That was 1235. Let me see something. Let me go back on the chart in a minute and take a look at something before I speak on it. But that was very close, and in the very last few seconds, you saw it come right back underneath. Well, not even underneath. It came back onto the strike, and he ended up winning that trade. But I am more interested in how the market looked before that. I want to see. Let me take this out. All right, that was what time? 12:35. So that was back here. Move the box over here. All right, so that was in here. Okay. Let me see. That was hit. That was this right here. All right. Okay, so this is what we just saw on the video. And he had the box I think it was probably placed more like this. So when we saw the video just now, it was looking more like this. So now prior to this, you see all of this activity, and this is just in general. This is the beginning signs of the market beginning to range. And I actually remember this because, as a matter of fact, I was talking during this because I remember this right here. I remember this. I was talking during this, and I forgot what I was talking about specifically, but I was in the dialogue. So I remember this. And at the time, my first thought was, all right, it's starting to show signs of the smaller candles, starting to show signs. So now, if this is the first time that you're seeing the market with the slow candles, it means that it's not already there. Y'all following me? You don't see this anywhere else back here. What do you see back here predominantly? Look at these big candles. Y'all follow me? See all these big candles? Now, in general, if you're seeing this for the first time, you need to see it more than once to know that it's there already. Because if you're seeing it first here, now you need to see it again after this, because you need to know if the market is transitioning into this, away from this. All these big candles. Is it transitioning away from that and starting to do this now? That's the question. So don't isolate just this because you see this for the first time. You want to see this happen because this was there already. So you want to have already seen this activity back. You want to see it present already. This is what I mean when I say, is there already a range? So in other words, is this the first time that you're seeing the market do this with the smaller candles? Or is the market doing this again because it was already doing it? That's the question that you always want to ask. So I'm not asking a trade question at all. I'm not saying, oh, well, Mark, why do you think that trade won? Well, the trade happened to win because the market came back into the box. That's why it won. Now, why did it come back into the box? It's not necessarily because activity was already present earlier. This activity is present now. This is here now. The reason that it went up that far in the first place is actually more of the question. It's like, well, damn, why did it come back and do all of that and go and test the strike and all of that, blah, 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 blah. If you actually look at, and we saw it when we were watching the video just now, and let me add this to it. When this initially set up, you had the 7, I think it was 765. He got 765, he clicked in. Now, did you notice that there still was more movement left? It didn't just do 765 and that was it. What else did it do? It did 4, 3, and it might have did 2. Let me see if it went to 2. Okay, it went to 3. So it did 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. What is that alone telling you about the movement, 1, and the range, 2? So you got 2 things here telling you a bunch of information. That activity right there alone is telling you that the range is becoming smaller but it's not already smaller. One. The hell is that? What the hell is that, man? See something? That better be the postable. Yeah, that's the postman. This dude be knocking on the door like he the cops. No, you got a doorbell, man. Relax. What the hell was I just saying? Sorry about that. Okay, so one, the movement is letting you know that that's just too much movement still there. As soon as you saw 76543, that right there is like, all right, nope, let me leave this one alone. I'm just saying as far as observation, because you wouldn't be clicking into this at this point anyway, just off the fact that you didn't already have this activity present. This is the first time that you're seeing this activity. That already invalidates any attempt to trade. You didn't already have a range. That's number one. Number two, the movement here. So if you decide, all right, let me just watch this to see what goes on. And then you watch it and you see that, okay, there's still a lot of movement here in the market. You understand why there's movement here, though. So if I ask, well, man, why do you think the market, why they come back up here and threaten the strike price? Well, look at all this. Look at these big ass candles. This explains this in the last minute. Is that making sense? What's dominant? This is why this is so important. This is why waiting is so important. What is dominant in the market? Big ass candles. That's what's dominant. What does big ass candles mean? Too much movement. That's why this trade was threatened. Now, the only reason that the market came back into the box is because this was the beginning of the market starting to do what? Range. So that's why it came back, because otherwise it would make more sense for it to just go and just end up wherever it wants to go. Because big candle activity is dominant in the market already. That's what's present. Big candle activity. See, man, this is powerful. That was good. That was very good. Was his entry into the trade good? Sure. That was a great entry. Great entry. Is that what we're looking for? No. We wouldn't even been in that trade. We wouldn't have been in no trade yet. There's big candle activity going on. We're not in any trade. We're not looking to do nothing yet. We're in observation mode. That's what I want you guys to understand from that. And thank you for sharing that, Ron. So again, we always need to be able to know the why. Question is, well, why did it come back and threaten to strike? Well, there's big candle activity going on. Oh, that's nice. That's a large. It's nice. I like that. Lulu got me a Brooklyn Bridge shirt. Yeah. Thank you, Lulu. Ooh, with my birthday on it. Uh-oh. See how Lulu be thinking about me? Can't keep her off of me. Oh, man. Nah, shout out to Lulu, though. Thank you, Lulu. So, y'all understand what I'm saying? Yes. And I know Ron shared that because that's what I just was talking about. Nope, can't tell me shit. Excuse me. But that was powerful. That whole example just, man, this is probably the most powerful training that I've done this year. Like for real. Because we done touched on multiple things in this observation today that is going to elevate everybody. You're gonna get clarity, man. Kelly, what's up, man? Right. Bingo. It does look like that one. Yep. Yep. Look at the keyword at what look at what Walker says at the end. Stability hadn't established itself yet. What stability? The range, the box, dominant, dominant, not once, not seeing it the first time. You following me? Terminology starting to make more sense now, right? Overall. When I say overall, what am I talking about? What's dominating? When I say the market ain't there yet, what am I talking about? The range ain't dominant yet. The box is not dominant yet. It ain't there yet. See? You see how like everything is coming together now and making more and more sense? Mm-hmm. I did say that at the time. That's exactly what I said when we were looking at it in real time. Exactly what I said. And see, listen to the word. It's transitioning. Not it transitioned. It's transitioning. Very important. And this is why you guys are going to be unstoppable, because you're learning the foundation of the market. Every time you trade, and whether you win or lose the trade, that's not even important. The question is, why did you trade? That's the question. Why were you in the trade? The answer should only be because the market is stable. Not the market was transitioning, not, oh, well, the market was almost there, not the market is getting there, not I thought it was stable. You're following me? You need to know already. Market is stable. How do you know that? The range is dominant. The box is dominant. The barrier is holding. The market's moving and holding. That's your only reason for being in a trade, period. Not, oh, well, because there was pricing on the option. That's not why you took the trade. That's never the reason to enter. Oh, I had pricing. What? We don't trade. We don't trade. We receive trades when the market is stable. So we really observe until we see that the market is stable. And then if and when a trade comes, that's the trade that we end up in. That's it, and that's all. This is good today. This is good. I got it, Jay Carly. Thank you. All right, very good. Ron, thank you for sharing that. Jay Carly is ill. Oh snap! Hold up. I think I'm gonna just play it too. Let me see some. I'm gonna play it so I can, just so we can hear exactly what I said. Let me see if it'll play the audio. It should play it. Is this it? Oh no, I don't think that's it. Hold up. Where did it go? Oh, that's the wrong screen. All right, hold on. That's Facebook. But this opened up in a separate separate browser. Oh, there it goes. Wait, is that it? No, this one. 12:35. This. Okay. So look, we're gonna watch this and listen also. Let me see if it plays the audio. See if we can hear this. And they had the box. I think it was probably placed more like this. It'll open up a ticket. We'll appear together, clustered. So when we saw the video in our I was looking for like this. Hurry. So now, prior to this, you see all of this activity, and this is just in general. This is the beginning. Where do you find the ticket on the chart of the market? If you click on either the red or the blue box during this for whatever is the relevant strike, that'll open up. All right, I was hearing two things. I don't know what was that? I think, is this what I just did a little while ago? Or this is what I was doing at the time? Wait, let me rewind that again. Hold on. The beginning. Where do you find the ticket on the chart of the market? If you click on the beginning signs of the market beginning to range, I think that's what I said, right? Either the red or the blue box for whatever is the relevant strike, that'll open up a ticket. So, for example, if I click this. Oh, wait. Okay. No, it's the other voice. It's the other voice. All right, hold on. Beginning. Where do you find the ticket on the chart of the market? So I'm talking about the ticket on the chart. If you click on either the red or the blue box for whatever is the relevant strike, that'll open up a ticket. So, for example, if I click this, it'll open up a ticket. During this, and I forgot what I was talking about. It'll automatically, by default, go to the sell side. So I remember this. And at the time, the box that I clicked, my first thought was, all right, it's starting to show signs of. That's the box I clicked, so that's where smaller candles. Starting, you'll see the ticket to show signs. And then your ticket will be so open. Now, if this is the first time that you're seeing the market with the slow candle, so just since I've been talking, you can see how the market now is transitioning. Okay, right there. I said just since I've been talking, we can see that the market has been transitioning. That part. Let me rewind a little bit because I just said that it's not the louder voice, it's the lesser voice. Market with the slow candle. So that listen. Just since I've been talking, you can see how the market now is transitioning. Just since I've been talking, you can see that the market is now transitioning. Y'all following me? Smaller candles. Smaller candles. Anywhere else. And in the box for a longer period of time. And in the box for a longer period of time. All right, very good. Very good. So that literally is exactly what I said. All right. Thank you, Jay Carly, for the double audio. That shit was sounding crazy at first. I'm like, what am I listening to? I'm hearing two marks. I'm hearing two me's over here. All right, so that was cool. Very good. Yep, very good. Yeah, I'm sure it was. It ended up being clear too after I realized what was being said and the timing of it. Yeah, that was very good. Very good. All right, thank you. Yeah, I thought I was bugging out too. I was like, wait, what? I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, when did I say that? Because then I'm hearing the other one. I'm like, wait, I just said that a little while ago. So she was listening to the live and then playing back the older 1235 clip at the same time. But it ended up being excellent. So shout out to Jay Carly. All right, so this is great. This is another damn near 2.5 hours again today. Straight fire and clarity. This is good. So this observation today is going to be very, very helpful for us all. Indeed, it gave a lot of clarity. How to zoom out. Don't have all your candles scrunched together. You know. mrmh, stability, what overall means, dominance. We covered everything, man. Yep, covered it all. Covered it all. Yeah, what? Definitely on replay. I might add this to the 301 playlist. I just might. It was that good. I'll see when I play it back. I'll be able to judge then. But this might be added to the playlist. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. So let me get up out of here. Y'all know what it is. Mark for the TeamAlliance. So this is Coffee and Charts. I think this is what, number 15? No, my bad. This is number 17. Solid. All right, y'all. I'm out. Dom de Marco, Dom de Marco.